Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. Um, it has been quite a week for many of us, and I don't know about you, but everything that happened in Charlottesville has brought out some interesting conversations in my life with people that I respect and care about, and has brought out some interesting feelings in me as I work through how I really feel about it and what to do about it. It's mostly like what to do because so much of me is so sad and so appalled and so frustrated by what's happened that this sort of thing can happen in our country and wondering what to do. It's easy and what to do that doesn't create more of an us them mentality. And it's hard. There are no easy answers. And looking at what contributed to such a culture that the things that happened in Charlottesville were allowed to happen. I mean, there would be cultures where that couldn't have happened, and it did here. So figuring out and just kind of being with all of that is not an easy process. And so we're going to delve a little bit today as we look at this whole idea of God is a rock. So God is here for us. God is solid. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago as well, is when we were looking at blessings, is that, God is in the midst of this. And it's at times like this where it is so big and so ugly and on a national and global level that it's hard. It's really hard to find God or to see God in the midst of such hatred. And then to figure out what is ours to do. How do we stand in solidarity? How do we combat it without creating more of the problem that created the situation to begin with? Because if we truly are all one, if we all are children of God, how do we stand up for love and not create more of the us them mentality? You can see it really affects me. So we're going to get an opportunity to go inside and just kind of be with the swirling of all of the feelings and emotions that go on while we work on just finding our center in the midst of all of this. And that's what today is really going to focus on, is finding our center in the midst of all of this that is going on in the world and in our lives. All right, so I just invite you to take a moment and put your feet on the floor. Just close or lower your eyes. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths together. And we are going to start from empty. And breathe in together. And release. And feel free to let it out with a sound or a sigh. And take a deep breath again. Let it out. And one more time. And let it out. And begin to just notice your body. Notice the areas where you're holding tension. And what I invite you to do is to just tighten those places even more right now. Just tighten, 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 tighten. For me, it's my shoulders. That's why they're up by my ears right now. And tighten, 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 until you feel like you can't stand it anymore. And then just release. And see if you notice a difference. Remember to keep breathing. So let's start with our feet. Just notice your feet. If you're sitting in a chair, just have them flat on the floor. If you're sitting on the floor, just notice them. Have your legs uncrossed. And just imagine that, like a tree with really deep roots, that there are roots growing out of your feet just deep into the earth. Anchoring you. That your foundation, God's love for you, knowing that God is, when Moses was at the burning bush, asked what should he call God? It was I am that I am. So that I am presence, God's presence is there and you're deeply rooted in it. Just imagine the roots from your feet going deep into the earth, deep into that knowing that God is in the midst of this. And when God created the earth, everything was good. And for some of you, it may feel good to go, it may feel comforting to hear God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. And for others, it may bring up feelings. Either way, if it brings you comfort, just root into that as well. If it doesn't, let it go. Don't let it be a distraction from really feeling rooted, grounded in the love of God. That somewhere in all of that, there is a peace that passes all understanding. And allow those feelings, those ideas, as you're rooted in them with your feet, to move up through your body. Like, notice your calves. Send love there. Feel the grounding, feel the presence of God's love there. And almost like you're stepping into a warm sleeping bag. I was trying to think of something else. Like you're pulling it up over you. Something kind of that would feel soft and warm. Just allow those feelings that God's love to just be like that be like stepping into a warm sleeping bag and just kind of wiggling it up over you so that you feel completely surrounded with God's love, God's power, the presence, the mystery of God's in the midst of this. God's in the midst of my life. God's in the midst of what's happening in our country. Even when I don't understand, even when it pains me, even when it brings up grief. And just allow that comfort and that knowing to wash over you. And then allow it, as you've gone from your feet working up, and allowing your body to be a part of this and noticing where there's tension in your body and just breathing into that spot to really relax it and allow God's love into that place too, because the places that we're holding tension are the places we have resistance. And so just allow that to be in this moment. Everything we can pick up later. For this moment, just allow yourself to be really steeped and cocooned and wrapped in God's love. in the knowing that there is a power and presence and a mystery greater than we know that is here right now, that lives and moves and has its being through us. And breathe that in. And then allow, like a gentle rain, for some of us having it come from above as well helps. So let's, as a gentle rain, just feel God's love coming down on you, or a mist. Because it feels pretty stormy out there right now. So something gentle that just washes over you. And just take a moment to just be in this space. And see how much of you can just let go of anything else, let go of any thoughts, and just be in that place of God is here right now. In the midst of this, in the midst of everything, God is here with me right now. God's love is enfolding me. God's love surrounds me. God before me, God behind me, to the left and to the right. God above me, God below me, all around and inside. And breathe that in as much as you can. God before me, God behind me, to my left and my right. God above me, God below me, all around and inside. Just focus there. God above me, God below me, to my left and my right. God above me, God below me, all around and inside. Join me. God before me, God behind me, to my left and my right. God above me, God below me, all around and inside. All around and inside. Sometimes God takes us on a different path, as I had an entirely different place I thought this meditation would go. But it felt really important to remember that God is with us and that God is all around us and that we are not alone. And although we read this a couple weeks ago, I think it's important to remind all of us, whether you're dealing with personal hard times or whether you're being affected as I am in this moment with what's going on in the world and what's going on in our country. Just want you to remember that some days are very hard. Some days are very hard, and on those days, may you know that you are loved, because you are. You are held, and you are not alone. Some days are very hard. And on those days, may you remember that hope and healing surround you. And if you cannot remember, and if you cannot trust, and if you cannot feel the presence, we will remember and trust and feel and believe on your behalf. Some days are very hard, and on those days may light and love soothe your heart, calm your mind, heal your spirit, and surround you with peace. May you remember today that you are loved, and carry this feeling of God surrounding you all around you today. In the cocoon of God's love, wherever you go. And may that be a blessing to you, to others, and be the rock, understanding that God is solid, God is there for you. Have a blessed day.